Hello everybody, it's Calxiyn here, so I am not with Hunter today, but if you guys enjoy this video, you guys should become patrons over on Patreon, or join a Discord server. So I am happy to announce, the Qrow is Ruby's father theory is fucking dead in its grave. It was already dead before, but apparently you people don't listen to me, so I'm gonna say it again. It's dead. Miles confirmed in the Reddit Q&A that Qrow is not Ruby's father, and so y'all can shove it. Anyway, so we did another video talking about canon specifically related to Ilya. This one not too pressed on. You guys can still have your AUs where he's her father. It probably doesn't change that much as people changing Ilya from gay to straight, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, y'all do what you do. Keep writing your fanfics. However, I was very annoyed with people who continued to say, oh, but Monty was lying, he only said they were half-sisters, not that Qrow wasn't her father, but that obviously would have had some issues because, you know, Ty and Raven and Qrow and Summer don't necessarily make half-siblings. They would make nothing, I guess, and so, yeah, that doesn't work, guys. Anyway, so that's not happening. Anywho's, apparently that wasn't enough for them, the confirmation of them being half-sisters, because it was like, Monty was lying, everyone's lying, and I really think it's insulting, like, honestly, to be like, oh, you know, Monty responded to a tweet that he never had to respond to, that he did so willingly, you know, nobody had a gun to his head and he didn't feel pressured, but he said, no, he's not, you know, they're half-siblings, guys. But apparently that wasn't enough. So now you have Miles saying, you know, we don't like confirming things in the Q&As necessarily, but listen, we get this a lot. Qrow's not her father. Can y'all stop it? Like, he didn't say it like that. If I can read his, actual, post right here, it says, you'll have to watch to find out, fine. I'm gonna get beat up by Grim. We got asked this question a lot, so much, and normally don't like confirming things like this in a Q&A, but no, Qrow is not Ruby's dad. She just looks up to him so much she mimics a lot of her things about him. And so there you have it. And you guys are probably still gonna be like, but Cal, they're lying. They want it to be a twist. But guys, like, at this point, it's been confirmed almost 3 times by now. I know that people aren't going to listen, that people are gonna be like, they're lying, they're just waiting for the moment. Like, no, there's no fucking moment. Some of y'all gotta grow up, okay? And I don't mean that in a mean way. Don't want this to be a hostile video, alright? But here's the thing, okay? Some of y'all need to learn when to listen to the canon, right? Ilya is a lesbian. Do not make her straight. Do not make her bisexual. Qrow is not Ruby's dad. Stop saying she is. You can have your fanfics. But other than that, in the show proper, he's not. Like, can we just not? You know? And so that's all, really, that I kind of wanted to say on this. Like, you guys can write your fanfics. You can make your art, but it's not happening in the show. And if I get one more comment being like, I still think it's like Ruby's dad, no, like, no, it's not, okay? I think that there is, you know, theorizing, and then there's not accepting what you have been given, you know what I mean? And so if people still make Qrow as Ruby's father videos after this, I'm gonna be a little peeved, you know what I mean? Because they shouldn't have been making them in the first place, because the only basis was that, you know, Monty was lying. But now, you know, if you want to say that Miles is lying, I think that makes you a piece of shit. I'll be perfectly honest. They've never lied before. They have no business answering these questions. They're doing so, they're giving their time when they could be writing, probably, you know, to answer these questions for us on Reddit. And you're gonna be like, well, he's still lying. Like, it's almost been 5 years. Like, why keep up the act anymore, you know what I mean? And then why answer these questions? Because, like I said, Monty did it on his own Twitter. He did it willingly, of his own volition. You know, it wasn't meant to, if he really wanted to keep things secret and not mislead people, because I honestly don't think that's the kind of person he was, I don't think he would have answered that because he did so, again, of his own will. And this is like Miles again. Miles is answering like, hey, we don't really like to do these things, but y'all are out of fucking control, so obviously we need to step it. Like, that's basically how I read that message, is like, we usually don't like confirming things this way, but y'all are rabid and don't listen, you know what I mean? Obviously, he didn't say it like that, but again, that's how I read it. I don't know about any of you guys. And I'm not, again, I think that people that had the theory, you know, they had some base, I guess, because Ruby likes Qrow, but, like, that doesn't really do anything. And then, again, there was the, you know, already confirmation that they were half-sisters, and if you want to say that they were lied to about being half-sisters, I guess, I don't know. Like, it's just, I think that, like, being like, oh, but they're lying about the canon, you know, like, that just doesn't sit well with me. I don't think it should sit well with anybody, because I think that is when you get into crack theory territory. Well, the writer said this, but I don't care, you know what I mean? And I know in shows like Rick and Morty, they'll intentionally change like stuff so fans don't get the theory right if they figured it out too much, but even if that is what happened here, he's still not her father in the canon, so it doesn't matter. And again, I don't know, I'm not gonna, like, again, I didn't want this to be like a super hostile video. I didn't want this to, you know, be like, sorry you fucks. Like, no, I didn't want it to necessarily be that way, but at the same time, there are people in the community who still insist, and I think that Miles and Carrie aren't perfect, and neither was Monty, but saying that they're lying to their fan base about these things is completely inappropriate and disrespectful, especially because people are saying that now more so that Monty is dead, I think, because he can't dispute it, right? The only people that can dispute it are Miles and Carrie on his behalf, like Miles has done, right? And so I think at the end of the day, I think that when you're sort of using that to, like, push your own theory, or, like, push your own agenda, if we're getting into that sort of territory, you know, like, I think that's a really shitty thing for you to do. And again, I'm not in the business of telling people what they should and should not do, but I wouldn't associate myself with Hunter if that's what Hunter thought. Like, Miles and Carrie are like, no, I wouldn't talk to Hunter. I would not have you as a friend. I would not do collaborations with you as a YouTuber. And I'm not trying to drag any YouTuber that believes that or anything. I don't think any of them do, at least out of my little, like, YouTuber circle. So I'm not, like, sub-tweeting anyone, if you guys want to call it that. But I'm just saying, like, and maybe that doesn't matter to you. Maybe you're like, well, you're a bitch anyway, Cal, so it's fine. But I'm just saying that's my personal opinion. Like, I think that's the most scummy thing that you could say, and just because other shows do it, like Rick and Morty or Game of Thrones to an extent, doesn't, like, the whole thing about Ruby, the whole thing about Miles and Carrie was that this was supposed to be a different kind of show, or a different kind of anime, if you want to call it that, you know? They were supposed to be, it was supposed to be very community-oriented, very much built off of the community that they served, you know what I mean? And, like, a lot of people, like, from Rooster Teeth have started as fans and gone up working for the company. It's not like traditional shit like Game of Thrones or Rick and Morty is still in that sort of, like, mainstream TV kind of spot, right? And I think that Ruby was always supposed to be different from that and breaking the norm. And so by having the writers be honest with you, you know, maybe surprising to some people, and so I get that from that surprise does come, oh, but they're lying, you know? Like, I get it. I get that there is that sort of, like, but everybody else lies to me, so why wouldn't they, you know? But I think that, at the end of the day, I think that, you know, I don't think that we should sort of stigmatize all writers and all people that make shows for lying to us just because a couple of them do, because I think that the baseline is to be honest, you know what I mean? That should be the sort of, you know, expectation. We should have an expectation for honesty. We should not have an expectation for trickery and lies. And so I think that that is sort of what we're dealing with here. We're not dealing with everybody lies so they can't possibly be telling the truth. It should be Miles and Carrie are telling the truth because all writers should do that. All writers should either confirm things that are never going to come up, because this is probably never going to come up, or, you know, if somebody asks a spoilery question, just don't answer it, you know what I mean? Instead of feeling that pressure to somehow answer it and then be like, haha, I got you, you know what I mean? Like, and so that's kind of what I think of this, like, at the end of the day, I think that by Miles and Carrie having this sort of open communication with their fans, I hope that it will encourage other people making things to have that same line of communication, and that they don't feel pressure to lie and answer every single question. I think that you'll find out is a sufficient sort of answer, and so that's kind of all I wanted to say. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you guys should become patrons on Patreon or join our Discord server, and we will see you later. Bye, guys.